Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Club Junkie Podcast. Hopefully, you're having a great week. It's Wednesday. You get me in the middle of the week, so hopefully, your beginning of the week went well. You have a little light at the end of the tunnel with the weekend hopefully coming up, and maybe you get to play some golf this weekend or this week or whatever. So, I didn't play much last week. I played in my league. I didn't play much last week, but we'll get into my league story because that was interesting. But before we do, just want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Titleist Fitting. Nothing will do more for your driver performance than getting fit by an authorized Titleist fitting specialist. With outstanding featured shafts and a new premium partnership with Graphite Design, we have all the tools to get your game dialed. Visit Titleist.com to learn more about TSI drivers and to schedule a fitting today. I did a fitting with not with driver, but I did a fitting with a Titleist specialist for my wedges. It was actually a lot of fun. I got to hit a bunch of different wedges off different lies, and having somebody say, try to hit this shot, hit that shot, asking me about the feel of the wedges, what I liked, what I didn't. It was pretty interesting. You also learn a lot in terms of, like I said, I learned a lot just from wedge performance, and we did some gapping stuff, all that. So it was actually a lot of fun, pretty educational. But go to Titleist.com and check out more about their fitting specialists and their fitting options. Because, like I said, not only do you get dialed in for your clubs, but it's a lot of fun. You learn something. So how often do you get that? I wish school was more like that back in the day. Instead of just having weird history and math and things like that. Let's make it fun. Relate it to sports or golf or whatever your interest is. But yeah. So anyway. Last week, I didn't play over the weekend. The weekend was spent with the fam. Went up, did a little, as usual, some cottage stuff. Went to the old St. Clair River and did a little swimming, did a little hanging out, playing with the daughter. The girl is an absolute swing machine. She will, if there's a swing, she is getting on it, and she's going to be on it a lot and for a while. So. I don't know how she doesn't get sick with how often or how much she swings when she gets to an actual playground, but the kid loves to swing. So did a lot of hanging out, all that, which is always fun. If you're a dad, you don't need me to tell you that these things go by so fast. So trying to enjoy all I can. So no, I didn't play any golf over the weekend, but I did play in my league, and that was a very interesting round. So played my league, did my my guys trip, which is coming up. August 5th, 6th, or 6th, 7th, whatever that weekend is. That August 6th, 7th, 8th, or whatever it is. That weekend's my big guys trip every year. So we did our draft because we do a little team action, Ryder Cup style. We play in a couple different formats. So it's pretty fun. So we did that, which is always a blast. And now I'm beginning of the week. So last week Thursday was an interesting round of golf because walked out and I played the front half or the first 7 holes. I played really well. I think I was 1 over standing on the 8th tee. So I basically went out and just I made a bunch of pars, made 1 birdie on the 3rd hole. This is St. Clair Shores, so we played the front 9. And the first, the whole front 9 is just a weird 9 for me because I don't use driver except for 1 hole. Everything's kind of like hole 1 has a little dog leg to the right. I mean, it's pretty straight, but it just kind of veers off to the right. But if I hit driver and I hit it just a little bit left, or I don't aim far enough right, then I can put it into the trees. I can even put it into a road. I can put it into a lot of bad places. So I just hit, depending on the wind, hybrid 3-wood, and go from there. And I think I played hybrid there and hit a good shot. Was in the middle of the fair. Or no, I hit. I think I hit. It was into the wind. I think I hit 3-wood, hit it off the heel, but hit it in the fairway, but short. But had a little 8-iron in, a little choke down 8-iron, hit the front of the green. I think I 2-putted for par and walked away. But anyway, I plotted along. 3rd hole, which is a hole that I don't mind the tee shot. It's a second shot that stinks. So it's a hole that goes straight out. It has a couple bunkers on the right, a bunker on the left, but it's pretty straight and it's pretty wide fairway. And I usually just hit a hybrid up there. And if I hit a hybrid, I've got 100 yards in. So I usually hit a hybrid down there. If you can play the left side, and then the green comes in at kind of a funky angle because it's a long, kind of skinny green. and it comes in at kind of a funky angle. There's absolutely zero room. If you miss it left, the ball's probably gone. There's a very slim chance that you'll find it. If you hit it a little farther left than that, you can hit it over the fence and into I-94 as the freeway, which I have done and seen done many a times. How people aren't, like, you know, killed out there on the freeway is beyond me, but it's always a funky green. It's two-tiered, so like the back is tall, front's short, and it seems like no matter what, even from 100 yards, like the landing spot, it's just so tiny. And but I hit a good wedge shot, or I hit it a little left. I was in the rough, and but the same thing. I didn't have a whole lot to it, and it hit like a kind of a same thing, like a choke down gap wedge, and hit it pin high, just left side of the green. So I had, you know, maybe 18 feet to the pin. Break a little left, made the putt, breaks a little right, made the putt. So I'm like, birdie. I think I bogeyed the next hole just because I hit a poor second shot and just put myself in a weird spot on a green that has a ton of undulation. And so anyway, like I said, I was just plodding along. I think I won closest to the pin on 6 or 7, which is a par 3. It was like 176, and just hit a nice shot at set, like kind of, I think it was to like 8 feet, missed the putt. But like I said, I was just hitting decent shots. I mean, I wasn't hitting anything, you know, crazy. Wasn't hitting anything far, you know, offline. Just plodding along. I think I hit every green in regulation. I'm trying to think, did I hit every green? I think I did. I think I hit every green in regulation. So I was 1 over, standing on 8th tee. I was pretty happy. 2 bogeys, 1 birdie. I was, you know, rest pars, just sitting there going, all right. And I walk up to 8th tee, which is like my nemesis hole. And I step up and I snap hook 1 OB after I was playing with my brother-in-law, and him and I were joking. And another guy named Jay, who's a really nice dude. And we were sitting there talking and all that. And I was like, man, I'm like, you know, this is going to derail here at some point. And my brother-in-law was like, yeah, let's just wait till you get to 8. Like, you're going to definitely mess up 8. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. And I kind of believed him. I was like, you're probably right. I'm going to hit a bad shot on 8, and I'm probably going to, you know, tear this thing apart. And I walked up and snap hooked 1 OB, and then I snap hooked a second 1 OB. So I basically ended up making 8 on that hole. So I made an 8, and the worst part is I made an 8, and I hit a great, you know, shot just to get in front of the green. I wasn't going for it, just laying up. Hit a great shot there to the spot I needed to hit it. Hit a great wedge to, I mean, like just slightly beyond pin high, and I just missed, you know, what would have been a double bogey putt, and I tapped in my 8, and I walked off. So the sad part is, if I could have got it in the, you know, in play, I would have easily probably made par, if not bogey at absolute worst. But yeah, walked up and snapped up to OB. But the thing about 8 that just drives me nuts is that the tee box points you kind of towards, like, I mean, it points you literally. If it's not OB, it points you right down the line of OB. And if you hit it way out to the right, there's space out there, but it's not a great way to come in. And it's just it's a harder driving hole for my eye than it really should be. And that hole there has gotten me so many times when I've had good rounds going. I hit there and just out of bounds, and that just kind of derails everything. So that did it to me again. And then I went off and I made a good par on 9. I actually I hit driver because I was like, I want to hit it, you know, hit driver, so I want to hit it straight. Hit driver to the, you know, probably just left of the, you know, just to left of the fairway. But 9's a really short hole. It's a dog leg. It's kind of a dog leg right. And if you really want to get aggressive and move your ball over to the far left part of the tee box and try to hit it over the trees, you can get it down there pretty far. And if you're a real big hitter, you can definitely get it on the green. I usually just hit a hybrid down there, and then, you know, then hit like either a 9-iron or wedge on. So, but I hit driver down there, hit it pretty much straight, just a hair left of where I was aiming it, and knocked a wedge on, 2-putted for par, and walked away. So I bounced back, I guess, with the par, but it was just, you know, that. So I think I shot 39 with an 8, which is, when you look back on it, like I said, there's a lot of good things going. It was just one hole there. So it was a decent round. The driver was still Sim 2 Max with Ventus Black. I've kind of been sticking with that combo just because it's been working really well up until that hole. But it was, like I said, just 2 bad swings trying to hit it hard. And when I don't try to do it like I did on 9, I hit it a lot better. So unfortunately, Didn't play great. I did play the T100s again, and the same thing. Man, I hit those really well. So I don't know if it's the Project X shafts or if it's those heads, a combination of the two, or whatever. But right now, those two, that combo, that iron set is I'm hitting it really well. So, you know, I even put a Project X 6.0 in the U500, which typically would be a little heavy, and I think it is. I think if I was really going to play that U500, if that set, whatever, I would probably pull that shaft and put something else a little lighter in there. I think the static weight of a 120-gram shaft on a 4-iron for me is just not. I don't love it. You know, I like to like something a little. I've hit it twice since I've built the set, and both times I've hit the fair. Both times I've been on the tee, and I've hit the fairway, and I've hit them well. So I can't complain really, but I just don't know. Especially if I have to hit it off the turf, I just don't know if that thing weight wise I would hit it consistently enough. So, yeah, it was it was like I said, a good round out of the one hole. If I could forget the one hole, I'd be much happier with that. But it was a good day. So I always have fun playing it when I get to play with my brother-in-law and stuff like that. So it's always fun. But yeah, so that was like I said, went poorly there. But I do have some stuff to talk about today. One of which I've had the shaft for a little while. I'm finally getting around to talking about it because I had some other stuff and who knows. And I finally got a few more swings in with it, so I feel more confident with talking about it. I hate, you know, if there's something that I only get like 9 holes in and that's it. I try not to review it if I don't have to, just because I don't feel like that's a good enough, you know, baseline of swings. So I finally got a good amount of swings in, and I feel comfortable talking about it. So it makes me feel better. I mean, I've done that before. I've done a review after just like 9 holes, and it's, you know, like I said, I really hate doing it because I just don't feel like there's more to it than that. And but whatever. So the one, oh, well, before we get into that, I have, you know, my guys golf trip. So I know a lot of people do guys golf trips, or they hopefully do, because I mean they're a lot of fun. I do one with it's 2 of my 2 brothers, a bunch of guys that we went to high school with. Most of them are younger than me. I'm the oldest guy in the group, and then a buddy of mine who we graduated high school together and all that. So who I've known since like 2nd grade. So a bunch of us go in. There's 16 guys every year, and it's a cool event. Like this will be my 3rd year playing in it. The first 2 I had a really good time, and yeah, it's 16 guys, so 8-man teams, and you basically play you know, different formats against another team, and you switch it up the format every 9 holes. So you play 18 holes with another, you know, with 2 other guys from another team, but like, you know, the first in the morning you may play, you know, best ball. In the second in the morning, you may play modified alternate shot. So modified alternate shot, we play it where both guys hit drives. You take the best drives and you play alternate shot from there. And you know, it makes it a little easier because hopefully you then have one in play instead of doing true alternate shot. And there's some guys in this group who they don't play a ton of golf, so this, you know, will triple maybe their amount of golf they play for the year. And we play 5 rounds of golf in 3 days, so you have 36, 36, 18. See who gets a trophy, and you go home. I have thankfully been on the winning team both my years in this league, but every year you do a draft, so there's captains of the team, and they get to pick you know, your polo color for Sunday, your Sunday match. They get to, you know, put the matchups together, pick their team, all that. And I am actually on a team with my youngest brother, who also drafted my other brother. So we've got the 3 Knutson boys on one team, which I don't know if that's gonna pan out. But 3 Knutson brothers on one team, and a couple other guys. But it was fun. We had the draft, so we go over usually one guy's house, and we, you know, go down to the basement. We actually have a Zoom chat with if anybody who can't make it wants to jump in and watch and hang out. And our boy Wes down south always jumps into Zoom. We had a guy who was driving to vacation with his family watching the draft. I mean, it was, you know, it's pretty fun. So we order some food, hang out. There might be a beverage or 2 consumed, and do the draft. So it's pretty cool. It's fun. Like I said, I went. I think I want to say I was 3rd pick, something like that. Maybe 4th. I don't know. I was thinking I was 2nd on my team, 3rd overall, maybe. Either way, I was something like that. And it was which is too high for me. It was definitely too high for me. So I'm probably going to get. I got a tough matchup. I got a bunch of tough matchups. I got to play against some really good, some guys who are good players. So it'll be interesting. But like I said, I'm 2-0 so far. I'm hoping to go 3-0. This year we're going up to northern Michigan, called a little resort called the Loon. If you haven't heard of it, or if you have, it's supposed to be pretty nice. I played it probably like 12 years ago with like my uncle and one of my brothers and a buddy of his, and we played it there. But it was, like I said, it was probably 12 years ago. So I'm excited to get back and play it, and I'm excited for that trip. So I've got to make some ball markers every year. I make little ball markers that are like basically 1 1/4 inch copper, or this year I did copper and brass blanks that I just order off eBay. If you look on eBay for, I think they're 1 1/4 inch copper rounds, and they're 1/8 inch thick. So they're actually thick. They're kind of heavy. And I stamp them up for each team. And I've done that both years. This is my third. I really got to finish them up. I've got them over here on my table. I got to get working on them, because I got to finish them up, because I'm going to be gone next week for work. And then I get back, and literally the next week I'm heading up north, heading up to the northern part of the state. So not a lot of time. I got to get those done, and but it'll be fun. I'm excited to play. So now getting into actually what you guys come here to listen to, which is not me and my guys trip, but even though the guys in my league think that this podcast should be all about that trip, it's not. I mean, we'll talk about it when I get done with it, and like last year, admitting that Wes destroyed me on Sunday in singles, but we'll get to that when it's ready. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is a shaft I've had in my hands for a little bit. I finally got enough rounds with it to feel comfortable, but it is the VA Composites Regine, which I've been pronouncing wrong this whole time, and I could have just went on their website and looked because they have a phonetic spelling of it, but as I pull it off my shaft wall. So the VA Composites, if you haven't heard of VA Composites, it's a little smaller shaft company, but they make some really high quality stuff. And they make stuff that actually, when you go hit it, I mean, I don't think there's a shaft in their line that I've hit that hasn't had just really good, smooth feel to it, easy to load. But the Regine is basically, I guess it was their actual first shaft. I actually thought the Sleigh was, but the Regine was their first shaft that they came out with, and basically it's kind of a mid-high launch, depending on the weight and flex, but it's a mid-high to high launch depending on the weight shaft with low spin, and it's got a pretty cool white and black graphics. The dragon on these on kind of up near the handle section, up near the grip, is pretty cool, pretty detailed, but it's a nice looking shaft. It's the white is one of those things where some guys are gonna love it or hate it. I don't mind. I mean, colors to me in shafts don't really, it doesn't really bother me if something's brighter colored, not brighter colored. I know some guys will say it's distracting or whatever. I don't think it doesn't bother me. It's a shaft's a shaft, as long as it performs well. I don't really care what color it is. The only thing I like the graphics down part, but other than that, we're good with whatever color they want to have. So yeah, the Regine is basically a excuse me, like I said, mid-high, kind of mid-high launch. This one's a 64X, which is 64X is labeled as kind of a mid-high launch and low spin. The X comes in at about 74 grams, which when I built it up and put it in a head, I actually did think it was kind of heavier than most 60-gram shafts that I've tried. I was like, this thing does seem like it has a little more weight to it, but again, the balance point can kind of affect those things as well. And I thought maybe it's just a little more tip heavy than some of the other shafts. So the VA Composite stuff, there's they only make really kind of one shaft that's like low launch, low spin, which is kind of the Regine Black version of this. So all their stuff is a little more mid-launch to mid-high. And this one here is, I would say it fits pretty much that mid to mid-high category. I think for me, it kind of slated closer to mid. I thought it actually launched maybe just a little bit higher than, say, like Ventus Blue. It was definitely something that, compared to, say, or maybe a little higher than maybe, say, the Graphic Design GP. Those two, I think, launched just a little bit lower than this. But this thing here, again, like all VA shafts, has a really, really smooth feel. This one here is actually like the second stiffest butt section or handle section out of all their shafts. The Regine Black has a little stiffer handle section, but that's kind of low launch, low spin. And we all know that's not really my cup of tea all the time. Right now I am playing Ventus Black a lot, so that kind of contradicts it. But no, the Regine Black is kind of their like I said, mid to mid-high launch and shaft. They say the Slay launches higher and the Villain launches a little lower, and it fits in right between those. Like I said, I found it to be pretty close to accurate. I found it actually launched a little lower than I expected it to. But super easy to turn over, or super easy to turn over. But it didn't have a ton of left in it. I played a lot of this, or I played a lot with this shaft in the Epic Max LS. And I tell you what, there was a really good combo between the two. That was being a 10.5 head with this shaft, and I really, window-wise, like I said, it probably fits into that mid-high, and just slightly above mid for me. I expected it to launch higher. I thought I was going to have to turn down that Epic Max LS head just a little bit to, turn it down to say 9.5 to play it, and I didn't. I think I set it at 10.5, went out and hit it, and figuring, after a few holes, I'll probably switch it, and I didn't. I played pretty much all the holes I played with it. I played like 27 holes with it, and I think I played all of them at the 10 standard 10.5. But it's easy to turn over. It's really easy to square up. It doesn't have a ton of left in it. I thought really it would have a little more, a little more left in it, because it does have a little softer tip section. I thought it would have a little more left, and it really didn't. I mean, it would hit everything from straight to slight gentle draw. I didn't really have to worry about I mean, I never have to worry about the right, but I didn't really have to worry about the right with it. Like I said, every shot there was straight to, like I said, even a little gentle draw. And for, being a little, say, softer feeling profile than, say, like a Ventus Black or something like that, it was extremely stable. Really consistent. One of the days I went out, and I think I had 3 drivers in the bag, or at least 2 at the time. And I think I pulled the other driver out for like 1 hole and hit it, and that was it. And the rest of it, I played with this, because I hit it extremely well. I was hitting a ton of fairways with it, or if not, I was just missing the fairway, not anything that was hurting me. In terms of spin, I thought it was pretty low spin. Hitting it dead into the wind, I did see maybe just a hair of rise out of it. Nothing crazy, but it did rise a little bit. I could see the launch kind of, as it went out, the launch was perfect, and then it would just rise up a little bit and come down. Always had a decent amount of roll with it, though, so I can't complain there. It never was one of those, hit and there's your ball mark and right next to it is your ball. But like I said, a really consistent shaft. The feel of it, like all VA shafts, is super smooth. It actually, felt a little stouter than I thought as well. I always thought kind of VA stuff played a touch softer. This definitely has a good stiffness to it. I think it plays really true to flex, but really really smooth. Easy to feel it load, and it has a good kick and impact. I think that little softer tip section, little softer mid section, really do give it a great kick and impact, and it does feel like it's, kind of helping you out there. I like I said, really like the feel at impact. Very little, vibration to it, so it's, like I said, very smooth. It doesn't transfer a ton of harsh vibration to your hands. Probably pretty good if you're somebody who has, elbow, wrist, shoulder type, injuries or issues. It can definitely help with that. But yeah, if you're looking for a mid-launch shaft that you can, like I said, it really has good feel to it. And the Regine, which, like I said, I've been pronouncing wrong for the past month, is a really good option. I think in terms of working the ball, like I said, I think a player who can hit it straight, work it right or left, I think with this shaft is going to have no problem. Myself, it probably would have to be crazy stiff to hit it right. I just don't have to worry about the right ever, or very, very rarely. But like I said, it was, even for a guy like me who hits it so far left, it was easy to square up, but it was consistently straight. I mean, I think that, the 27 holes I played with it, I think there were very few shots that if it went left, it was just one of those maybe, 10 yards at most, it would go left on a good swing. I mean, I can always come over the top, smother it, and blast it left, but there's not a shaft in the world that can save that shot, so it doesn't matter. But on good swings, like I said, the most I saw is maybe like a 10-yard draw. I mean, just the perfect ability to kind of turn it over a little bit and let it run. But it was a really good shaft. I was really impressed with the feel. Like I said, the weight of it definitely in my hands felt a little heavier, and I think actually it might have helped kind of with tempo a little bit. I mean, just going a little bit heavier, but without having to worry about going, you know, super heavy, low launch, low spin. I think it worked out really well. But like I said, I was really impressed with this shaft. I've been impressed with both VA composite shafts that I've hit. I mean, they're really high quality stuff. I mean, they're designed well. You know, Victor, who's there, has just tons of, you know, years and years and years of experience of designing shafts. So it's not like this is just some guy just, you know, throwing stuff together and pumping out of his garage. Like, he knows what he's doing. So, but the Regine is like I said, if you're looking for something kind of mid-high launch, I think in the heavier weights, because the 74 gram actually gets into be like 80 grams. Let me pull it up and just double check. But I think the 74, they make a 74 and they make an 84, or they make a 74 wood, which comes in weight, excuse me, weight-wise at 80 grams. I think anybody looking for a little heavier fairway wood shaft, this thing could be an absolute monster in a fairway wood. Like I said, easy to elevate, hit it off the turf, get in the air, but it's still pretty low spin, and with a good feel. This could be one of those, you know, really special fairway wood shafts. I'm going to keep it in driver because I thought about actually cutting it down, putting it in a fairway wood, but I couldn't figure out what head I wanted to put it in, and I hate, like, you know, kind of, you know, wasting a shaft if it doesn't work out in that head and whatever. But I think I'm going to keep it in driver. I think I'm going to hit it in a couple things. I think that extra weight, like I said, tempo-wise kind of helps. So I might toss this thing in that TaylorMade head and see what happens there, just to see if maybe I you know, find a little magic, because you never know. But like I said, a really solid option there. If you're looking for something, you know, like I said, you know, mid-high launching, but, you know, with low spin, but it's also not something that, you know, you're going to have to worry about hitting a ton of stuff left. The Regine's really solid. And like I said, now thinking about it, you know, fairway wood wise, it could be another great option for some of the bigger hitters out there who want something heavy. Like I said, the 74 is going to come in at 80 grams. So when you cut it down, it'll still be in that probably high 70s range. Which I know is kind of hard to find nowadays. There's not a ton of shafts that are heavy, but this definitely could be one of them, and it could be a pretty nice option to toss in a fairway wood. So they also make you know, iron shafts in 74 and 84 grams, and then they also make a hybrid shaft. You know, that's about 87 grams in X. So like I said, a lot of options out there for this shaft. Like I said, I didn't realize when I first got it how heavy it was, but now, you know, after that and playing it, a lot of it makes sense. So check out the VA composite. If you go to vashafts.com, you can check out all the specs of the Regine. You can pronounce it correctly, like I finally did. But it's, like I said, a really good option there. And like I said, in a fairway could be a real monster for some people looking for, you know, like I said, kind of mid-high launch with some low spin. They could really enjoy this thing. So like I said, I'm a big fan. I'm going to probably try it in some other heads, just to see how it goes. Like I said, the Epic Max LS, it performed really well with, and we'll see how it performs in some other heads, because I definitely want to keep hitting it and give it some more love. So that is the like I said, the VA Composites Regine, which I finally got enough holes in. Like I think I originally got it, I shafted it up, I played like 9 holes with it, and then I kind of, like, you know, I was hitting the Nemesis, I was hitting some other stuff. And I was just like, I can't do a review on it yet. I got to get some more swings. So I finally got out, played some more holes with it, and like I said, was very impressed and drove the ball really well with it. So it definitely is going to have some more chances to get in the bag and earn its spot, to say. So like I said, VA shafts, check out kind of their whole line, but the Regine is pretty darn good. So now my other thing is my second foray into cheap grips off Amazon. So as you guys know, and actually on this Regine is my GeoLeap grip that I bought off Amazon, that I think was like $30 or $32 for a set of 13. Might have actually been cheaper, but whatever. And they're terrible. Those GeoLeaps are absolute garbage. If you didn't listen to my previous podcast about them, if you want to feel seams on the side of your grips, which I've never felt before, I didn't know that was a thing. GeoLeap has perfected that, and you're able to feel them. So, and the tackiness that you feel coming out of the bag is not quite the same tackiness that you feel out on the course. But hey, if you want to need some cheap rubber on the end of your shafts, There you go, GeoLeap. But anyway, so those things are junk. I still have like 8 of them up in my little bin there, and I'm working on putting an iron set together. So I needed another set. Like I didn't want to use these. I mean, I would have if I really had to, but I wanted some more, some grips for a set of irons that I'm building with some shafts that I just got in. So I was like, all right, well, let's go see, if Amazon maybe has, maybe luck can finally strike. So I found, which I guess you pronounce it Kingrasp or Kingrasp. So it's Kingrasp. I don't know exactly if it's Kingrasp or Kingrasp, whatever. But I bought these things, and they're kind of like a tour velvet design, and they were $31 for 13 of them. No tape or anything, but they're $13 or $31 for 13 grips, standard size. And I was like, hey, you know what? Let's try them. The worst that happens is like these. I toss a couple on, I hate them, and they probably sit in a bin for a while until or I use them on like a random shaft that I'm going to review and maybe not play again. No problem. So, but I ordered a set of these, and they were prime, so they came right away. And I do have to say, they're definitely a step or a couple steps above the GeoLeaps. They're pretty interesting. I mean, they're definitely cheap. You get the bag, you open it. It comes in this like crazy cellophane bag that or plastic bag that says Kingrasp, now you are, with a lion. I don't know what now you are is supposed to do. That's an interesting slogan, but now you are. And then at the back, the Kingrasp, the one thing I really did like is that that in the wording that you can definitely tell was translated, because it just doesn't, nothing kind of goes together, but it says it's the wise choice of professionals. So, I mean, I guess that's a good sign for me, being a non-professional. But they devote themselves, set this grip up here, they devote themselves to developing and improving the professional competitive match enterprises, which are suitable for professional players and user experience, not only providing golfers with the best products, but also enabling players to play on the course the highest level. I mean, that's, right now I'm getting goosebumps. That is how Kingrasp, they didn't even capitalize their own name, become the choice of overwhelming majority of professionals. Now, I mean, we cover a lot of stuff here at Golf WRX, and we've covered some tour stuff, and I haven't seen anybody yet with these on their clubs. I haven't seen any pro yet on the PGA Tour, but I know there's a lot of tours, a lot of professional golfers who don't necessarily play on the PGA Tour, but these things must be all over the place. On the Korn Ferry, on any of the tours lower than that. They must be everywhere, because majority of the professionals, I mean, it's becoming the choice. So vibrant colors, high-tech material, durable, easy to clean, bold and unique design style, providing a better sense of control, allows you to do whatever you want to do, whatever you want to. So, yeah, I mean, whatever you want to. So, I mean, whatever I want, I can do with these grips. So yeah, it's oh, they have an interactive grip selector. Well, now I got to check this out. So we're online here, and we're going to check out the online kingrasp.com. They have an online grip selector. So Kingrasp, let's see. They're the let's see, home. Wow, oh wow, that's they've got like the generic golfer photos on there, and one guy is like wearing like these brown plaid pants and all this stuff. So all right, let's see if we can find the golf grip selector here. Not seeing it yet. They got a lot of grips, products. They make head covers too, evidently, and golf accessories. But they don't have I'm not seeing the grip selector. They've got what looks like kind of a version of a Super Stroke pistol. They've got like a multi-compound type look. Got like a Win or Super Stroke style with like the with kind of the foam or rubber underlay, and then like the polyurethane or whatever they call it on the top. They make hitting mats, but I'm not seeing the golf. I'm not seeing the golf grip selector, man. It's supposed to be. Yeah, it's supposed to be on. I'm not seeing it. I'm kind of bummed. Not seeing the golf grip selector. So I'm a little bummed. But yeah, the guy's got a putter with a regular swing grip on it. It's one of those just generic photos that are just terrible. So anyway, they don't have a golf grip selector, so they lied. Or if it is, it's like hidden somewhere. But they don't have that. So don't go to kinggrasp.com and try to have a grip selector because they're not going to have it. But anyway, but yeah, anyway, like the bag like has such a bad rubber smell. It also has a nice logo on it that tells you not to put it over your head. So okay. But anyway, it smells so rubbery when you open it. Like as soon as I opened the Amazon box, it was just like awful. You could just smell it. It was super rubbery, and it took a while for that to like dissipate. But the grip itself is actually, like I said, ordered them, got them in. They look just like a Tour Velvet, and I pulled them out of the box. The one thing that you notice right out of the gate is that the taper or the butt section has like a big old flare to it, which is kind of interesting. It just like it's very pronounced. Like there's a very big ridge along the kind of the end cap of it, and it kind of flares out. And it seems like it has, but other than that, it seems like it has a pretty traditional amount of taper to it. If you kind of like take away the butt cap and just look at it, the taper's looks pretty traditional, something that, a Tour Velvet, would kind of have. But it's that kind of style. It has that type of texture to it. And the rubber honestly feels very similar right out of the bag. So, it's got that brushed kind of rubber feel to it. It seems to have good traction, all that. So I put it on a grip or put it on a club, and it was actually really easy to install. Like I think once I got it on, you could definitely tell it's a softer rubber than, like, say, a Tour Velvet. It's definitely, I'm going to assume it's not going to last near as long just because the rubber is definitely a little softer. But putting it on, it actually goes on, like, super easy because I think that rubber just stretches really easily. And it just slides right on. It's super easy, actually, to install. And I put one on a 3-wood that I had and took it out and hit that. And to be honest, like the seams on it, there's no seams, at least in the one I've hit so far. There's no seams like the Geoleaps, like the sides have no seams that you can really feel. Size, I think, is just a hair bigger than, like, say, a standard Golf Pride Tour Velvet, like a Lambkin Crossline. It's definitely just a little bit thicker than that. You can see kind of where the very tip of it goes in the shaft. There's a little bulge to where the texture starts. And it does feel just a little bit bigger in the hands. I wouldn't call it one wrap. I would say it's maybe like a wrap of masking tape, a wrap of double-sided, and that would be kind of the buildup I would say was close to. But it's definitely just a hair bigger than a traditional Tour Velvet. On the club, the kind of flared out butt section, you don't notice it as much. It really isn't as noticeable. I thought it was really going to stand out and kind of play into the kind of the palm of your hand a little bit, or the back side of the palm of your hand. And it really doesn't. I think as it stretches out a little bit and through the body of it, it kind of takes away a little of that flare. But overall, like, the feel of it is pretty, it's basically like playing kind of a Tour Velvet with a slightly softer rubber to it. So if it's something where you played the Tour Velvet or Lambkin Crossline, this would be a softer version of it. Like I said, I think it's softer rubber. I can guarantee it's probably not as high quality. So I don't think, if you're somebody who puts in a ton of rounds a year, this thing's probably going to become slick much faster than Golf Pride or Lambkin. But for something where, hey, I'm building up a set of irons to test them. I may not like the combo, whatever. I want a set of grips that I'm just going to, if I use them and don't like them and cut them off after a few rounds, I don't really care. It's not bad. I mean, for $31, this is definitely the best I've hit so far. Are they going to last you 2 years? Definitely not. Will they get you through, probably half the season, if not, depending on how many rounds you play? Will they get you through half the season? Or maybe a little more? Or will they get you through, some testing, whatever, in terms of, maybe you're testing out some length, whatever. You may have to cut the grip off, change something, and put a new one back on. Yeah, it'll get you through that. It's like I said, not a bad traction. Even with, my sweaty hands when it's hot out, they have pretty good traction to them. So haven't tried to clean them yet because I haven't needed to. But so far, much happier with these over the Geoleap. So if you're somebody searching for grips right now, or you want to have a little stash of grips that you just don't care about, to maybe, like I said, go test some settings or test a shaft or whatever, and that it may not be a long-term thing, and, hey, if the testing works out, you'll put your traditional grip on, great. I would say these aren't bad. You know, like I said, I think they make a mid-sized version of them as well. These are the standard. Like I said, they're a hair bigger than standard, but nothing crazy. Like I said, I don't think it's a full wrap bigger, but they're definitely a little larger. So, but overall, I think they're pretty solid for, you know, a short-term use, or, you know, get you through a year where you can't find the grips you really love. You know, this could definitely, you know, finish out the second half of the year if you haven't been able to find the grips that you usually play, or if you're like me and you test some stuff and you tend to burn through some good grips. You know, a set of these for $31 off Amazon, it's not bad at all. So the King Grasp, what's it called? It's the King Grasp Golf Grip. Okay, so it's just a golf grip. There's no real name to it or anything. It's just the King Grasp Golf Grips, standard 5 colors rubber golf grip. So, but like I said, $31 for these things, for 13 of them. You know, let them air out in the garage for a day. But other than that, like I said, it's actually not a bad grip. I'm kind of excited to toss these on a set of irons. At least I won't feel like, you know, I'm going to be really struggling with the feel of the grip, the performance of the grip. I'll be able to think I give a little better review on a club with this grip on it than anything else. So, like I said, these so far, like I said, long term, no idea. Don't take my word for long term, but for something short term, if you just need to test out some clubs, check out the King Grasp. But like I said, look for the one that looks like kind of like a Tour Velvet, because that's the one that I have here, and like I said, it doesn't have a name. So, but there's right now in black on Amazon. There's only 2 sets left. So you better order soon. But you can get them in orange, blue, and red. So, you know, you do have some other colors. The blues are $32.99 though, so, you know, be careful there. But, yeah, that's what I've got this week. So, I've got league tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to play over the weekend as well. I'll be down at old Bella Vista, so I'm excited to get out there and hit some stuff. And then next week, well, my show will probably be pre-recorded. I won't be in the office next week. I'll actually be golfing. I don't know if I can say anything about it yet, so I'm not going to talk about it. But I'm definitely going to go play some golf and play a lot of golf. So it'll be pretty exciting. So I'll let you know when I get back. But before it, I just don't know if I can talk about it yet. So we'll see. But anyway, hopefully you guys have a good week, a rest of the week. Hopefully you get out and play some golf. Enjoy it. Do whatever. Have fun. Like King Grasp says, you know, put these grips on. Do whatever you want to do. So, but anyways, have a good week. We'll talk to you next week. And if you want to ask any questions, anything like that, hit me up on Instagram at Club Junkie Pod. That's the best way. I know some people, I actually had a guy the other day say he left me a comment on the YouTube video, and I never responded because I just didn't even think to check those. So hit me up on Instagram at Club Junkie Pod. And then today, look for a little Q&A later today. So again, everybody have a good one. We'll talk next week. See ya.